From chaos to the world, the birth of the gods. Long ago, before the beginning of time itself, there was nothing in the universe. No light, no land, no sky. There was only the endless, boundless expanse of chaos, a vast, shapeless void where nothing made sense. It was a place where time had no meaning, where there was no distinction between existence and non-existence. Everything existed in a state of utter disorder and confusion, a primal soup of potentiality and void. But within this formless abyss, a transformation began to take shape. From the depths of this infinite chaos, the first force of creation emerged: Gaia, the great goddess of the earth. She was the embodiment of life and creation itself, the very foundation upon which the world would be built. With her will, she shaped herself into existence, and as she did, the world began to take form. Her body became the land itself, her flesh the fertile soil, the rolling hills, and the mighty mountains that would rise to define the landscape. Her veins were the rivers that would flow across the earth, and her breath the winds that would sweep through the skies. She was vast, all-encompassing, and nurturing, a mother figure to all that would follow. She gave birth to the land, the sea, and the sky, all drawn from her own essence. Yet, despite her immense power, Gaia was alone. The world, though taking shape, was silent and lifeless. Though she was the foundation of all things, she could not create the world entirely on her own. The universe felt incomplete to her, and so she longed for a companion. A force that could stand by her side, a counterpart to balance her existence and her domain. From her own divine essence, Gaia gave birth to Uranus, the god of the sky. He was a mighty and majestic force, whose presence stretched endlessly above Gaia's body. His form became the heavens themselves, the expanse of the sky that enveloped the earth. His breath was the winds that swirled around the world, and his gaze, the stars that twinkled in the night. Uranus was as infinite and powerful as Gaia, a force that complemented her as the heavens complemented the earth. Together, they shaped the world further, bringing structure and order to the once chaotic void. Under the rule of Gaia and Uranus, the world began to thrive. Rivers flowed, forests grew tall, and the sky above stretched ever higher. But as time passed, Gaia and Uranus realized that the world needed more than just the land and sky. It needed life-living creatures to fill the earth, to walk upon it and interact with the elements. And so, Gaia bore their first children, the Titans. These mighty beings were powerful and diverse, each possessing extraordinary strength and gifts, formed from the union of earth and sky. Their names were legendary: Oceanus, Hyperion, Themis, and many others, and they were destined to shape the future of the world. However, despite their strength, the birth of the Titans brought about a deep rift between Gaia and Uranus. Uranus, fearing the immense power of his children and their potential to challenge him, was filled with paranoia. Unable to trust the very children he had helped create, he sought to prevent them from ever rising to power. With cold cruelty, he cast the Titans into the depths of the earth, imprisoning them within the confines of Gaia's own body. The earth trembled as her children were trapped within her, a painful and unjust act that caused great sorrow to the goddess. Gaia, devastated by her husband's betrayal and enraged by his actions, felt a surge of fury within her. Her love for her children and her desire to see them freed from their father's tyranny consumed her. She knew that only one could bring about the end of Uranus's reign and restore balance to the world. And so, she turned to her youngest and most cunning son, Cronus, whom she had given birth to after the other Titans. He was clever, ambitious, and strong, a force to be reckoned with in his own right. Gaia approached him, her eyes filled with determination. "My son," she said, "your father has wronged us all. He has imprisoned your siblings in the depths of the earth and is a threat to the world we have created. You must rise and defeat him. You must bring an end to his reign, for it is the only way the world can be made whole." Cronus, ever loyal to his mother and filled with a thirst for power, accepted her command. He knew that in order to change the world, he would have to face his father, a being of immense power. And so, he waited, biding his time. One night, when Uranus stretched his form across the sky, unaware of the plot against him, Cronus struck. With a sickle forged by Gaia from the bones of the earth itself, he swiftly and mercilessly severed his father's power. Uranus, taken by surprise, fell from the heavens, his blood spilling upon the earth. The blood of Uranus, spilled upon the land, gave rise to new beings, fearsome giants who would one day challenge the gods themselves. But from that blood, there also emerged a goddess, one of the most beautiful and powerful beings to ever exist, Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. She was born from the sea foam, and her beauty would be the envy of both gods and mortals. With Uranus defeated, Gaia's body, though scarred by his cruelty, began to heal, and new life began to blossom across the earth. With the death of Uranus, Cronus rose to power as the new ruler of the cosmos. But as he sat upon his throne, he could not escape the fear that plagued him, the same fear that had haunted his father. Cronus knew that, like his father before him, he too was vulnerable. His own children might one day rise against him, just as he had risen against Uranus. And so, in his desperation, Cronus took drastic measures. In an attempt to secure his rule, he swallowed each of his newborn children as soon as they were born, hoping to prevent them from ever growing strong enough to challenge him. But even as Cronus attempted to protect himself from his own fate, he unknowingly set in motion the events that would lead to his downfall. His wife, Rhea, distraught by the loss of their children, secretly saved the youngest, Zeus, and sent him away to be raised in secret. Zeus would one day return, and with the help of his siblings, he would challenge Cronus and free the world from his tyrannical reign. Thus, the world continued to evolve from its chaotic beginnings. Though order had begun to take hold, conflict remained a constant force, shaping the destinies of gods and mortals alike. The age of the Titans had begun, but it would not last forever. For even greater forces were waiting in the wings, forces that would one day challenge the gods themselves, and lead to the greatest battle the universe had ever known, the rise of the Olympians.